So the men of the Lord have nothing to fear. And we're the men of the Lord coming back in our lot. Lord willing, we're the potential men of the Lord that's came back in our lot. And that's going to be saved. And now what we're doing is we're reading the books of our ancestors, of other men of the Lord, which is probably, that was us back there anyway. And we're reading about how they survived a near-death situation. You see? So that when we go through a near-death situation, we can overcome it. Because it's already written that the righteous shall overcome the beast. It's already written that the Lord said he was going to bring the third part through the fire.
Yep.
All right? So yeah, read that, brother.
Psalms 105 and start 42. He suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved kings for their sake.
Yeah, he reproved kings for their sake. So that's how you know that the men of the Lord are very integral in the eyes of God. And that would mean that they're very powerful men. So being that that's the case, we don't have nothing to worry about because we have the absolute creator that's backing us. And this is the proof, the evidence of the Heavenly Father, the creator, backing the men, his men. Delivering them from near-death situations, man. Where you would think to yourself, man, you know what? These guys is done out here. All right? But guess what? The Lord raised them out of that situation. So we got to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Let's keep going.
Right. You finished with yours, Arya?
Yeah, I've got one.
Right, so back in Daniel 3, it says, right, so, and these two men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and he rose up in haste and spake, and said, spake unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Yeah, they was perplexed, like, what? We just threw these men in the fiery furnace. What's up with them? Like, how come these guys are still around like nothing ever happened? Because a miracle was being wrought. The Lord was with them now. That's what they couldn't understand because they were busy worshiping their gods that were really no gods, like it says in the book of Chronicles, that the gods of the nations are no gods. So they're like wondering, like, damn, like, what the world happened to these individuals, man? We just put them in the fiery flame. So why are they still around? So a lot of wonders are going to, well, I said it wrong, fiery flame, the fiery furnace. Go on, brother.
No, it's funny because you say why it's still around. Alright, the Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Right, did we not do that? Like, for example, like you could, let's say you're in your house, right? And you may forget something. And you thinking to yourself, I swore I could have put it on this table here.
Yeah.
But then you go looking around and it's right on your bed, your wallet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what they were having to deal with. And sometimes that happens too, without you being aware. Like sometimes you can put something on the table and you know in your mind, I remember putting that thing on the table or whatever it is, it could have been your wallet or your keys. And you find your wallet or your keys somewhere else. Like, you know? Go on, brother. Because that happens sometimes, man, to people. Yeah. Go on, brother.
And it says,
I think that happened to me one time. I ain't gonna lie. Go on, bro.
They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. And he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
And the form of 4th was like the Son of God, because the Spirit of God was in the midst of them. Really was Yahawah that delivered them out of that situation. So once Yahawah got your back, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You got to cruise.
Can I say something, Elder? Yeah. And that's why, being in this truth, you have to stand firm.
Yes.
When you come in, that's what I say, you mustn't look back.
That's it.
Yeah. And to back up what the brothers are saying, In
that's funny you talking about that, because I got a couple of scriptures on that. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Go on, brother.
Can I bring this out, Elder?
Yeah.
1 Corinthians verse 15. I start from 55. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law.
Yeah.
But thank Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, which giveth us the victory through the Lord Yahawashi Hamashiach.
Yeah.
Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, for which as ye know that your labor is not done in vain, because they stood fast. They stood for the truth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they stood stern for their
They're
power.
unmovable. It says unmovable. You see what I'm saying?
Good precept, bro. You're going on.
I looked up that word, because it's Nebuchadnezzar who had this. Right. I just looked up the word. Don't mind if I just.
Yeah, you go on. You got it, man.
The word reprove in Psalms 105 and 30. I looked up the word. It says, right, to reprove, to decide, to judge, to rebuke, right, to correct, to show, to appoint, to show to be right. Yeah, that's what happened there. They were shown to be right.
Yeah.
And when it carries on reading, to convince, right? To convince, right? That's the point. To reprove, to chide, to correct, to rebuke. So Nebuchadnezzar got rebuked, man. You know what I mean? And I think as it goes on, he later gave glory to the Most High anyway. Didn't he? You know. And there's other examples of men being in under Daniel too.
Yeah.
And they gave glory to the Most High after they saw Daniel the light.
But they actually made him the president of the country.
So they were rebuked and reproved, and Daniel was proved to be right. And all the young men then was proved to be right.
That's it, man. Shall we go?
Yeah.
So it says, it says, I see forth in there like the Son of God. The Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth from the midst of the fire. Imagine how awesome that must have been to see these guys coming out of the fire, you know, unscathed. And princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors being gathered together, saw these men.
So all of the top men of that society came together, and they was like, whoa, like, what the world? So that shows you right there that the Lord was magnified even in that instance. Because all of the kings and rulers of that city, which again we have to go back, who put those men in those positions?
Yes.
The Lord did. It says in the book of Psalms that promotion cometh not from any other place but through the Lord.
Yeah.
You see, so they was like rolled by this wonder that was wrought. So much to the point where these men of high caliber of that society, they was like, you know what I'm saying, like they all came together, and it was just like, what the world is this?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So the same thing is going to be with us. That's why it says in the scriptures that we shall enter into the gates of the nobles, which we kind of have done that already, because you think about it, they're watching our videos, and they're kind of a bit nervous on what we're doing and what we're saying. These regular people, they're not nervous about what we're saying, because they don't know what's going on, but they know what's going on. You know, that's in the book of Revelations 11 chapter, and according to Revelations 11, it says that when they stand upon their feet, then great fear will fall upon them. That's what's going on right now. That's why these elites, they're kind of dragging their feet, because they know that in the back of their mind we could be right with what we're saying. But they're going to move forward anyway, because their agenda is equivalent to them, you know, equivalent to you having to take a shit. You got to take that shit. You can't hold it back.
Yeah.
You know, you feel you got to take a shit. So you got to take that shit. So it's the same thing with their new order system. They know they got to get it going. So even though they know that if they get this thing going, it's going to end them very well, they still have to get it going anyway.
Well,
the Lord has put the spirit on them to move towards their agenda, to do what they got to do. Go on, brother.
So it says, and they saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was the hair of their head singed.
Yeah, so brother, back it up a little bit. I want you to read the part where it talks about how the councils and the nobles of the city came through.
Right, so it says, and the princes and the governors and the captains and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was the hair of their heads singed, neither was their coats changed, nor the smell of the fire passed on them.
Yeah, and really what I wanted to say is in this kind of setting, because I said it wrong. What I should have said was in Psalm, because you know I always watch what I say, if I can say it better. You know, that's just my spirit. But it took the main guys, which were in high regard of that society, to come and actually see the wonder for themselves. And that shows you the magnificence of the Lord himself, how his miracles can be brought and how men of great caliber can wonder at these things. You see? That they themselves probably wish that they had a God like that. You know? It doesn't say that what I just said there, but you know.
So it says, then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God.
That's beautiful. I love that.
This is what I'm saying. So read that again.
That's beautiful.
Daniel 3:28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own power.
Right, proving that the gods of the nations are no gods. So the king of the city was like woed over the God of these four men, which is Yahawah Bahasham. So the same way when all hell breaks loose, these devils, they're going to be woed over us.
Yes, beautiful.
That's why it says
that's the spirit.
Wisdom of Solomon 5, it says that how the wicked beheld the righteous are being delivered. So they're going to be in a state of perplexity, but they're going to be like in woesome. Like, what in the world is this? We thought we had these negroes under our foot on lockdown. Now look at how they're being delivered. Going on.
Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labours. And when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
They shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. Just like how they was amazed at the strangeness of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's salvation. The same thing is going to happen all over again. But the miracle is going to be completely different. What I mean by the same thing is going to happen is that the nations are going to be woed by the miracles that the Lord is going to do unto his men.
Because Elder, as you said, there's nothing new under the sun, is it? So that's going to come right back again. What they're going to do now, and they're going to see all these miracles happen when the prophets start doing all these miracles. They're going to say, wow,
what the hell is that?
What is this what we doing here? What these men that we really put down, right? You're right, Elder.
And since you read about these four men going through the fire, I want you to get somebody get me Zechariah 13.
2 parts, 2:35?
Yes.
1:35.
You could read all of it. You could read all of it. Zechariah 13 and 8 to 9.
Zechariah 13 from verse 8 says, and I will bring them that shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their power, and in truth and in righteousness. That's Zechariah 8. It's like I'm in 8. It's like my 13. It's like in my fault. I was in 8 and 13. I'm not thinking in 8. Zechariah 13 verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahawah, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them, and I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahawah is my power.
In which they shall say Yahawah is my power. Because the 3rd, which is the 33.3%, they're going to be the ones that's going to survive this destruction when it comes down. Because we know, and we've been talking about this for years, that this society is going to hit ground zero economically. And the elite, they're going to think that they can return the system in another fashion where they can control people's lives inwardly and outwardly in totality. But that's not going to happen. That world isn't written in prophecy to happen. Now the world that is written in prophecy to happen is the kingdom of heaven, which will be governing that. And the thing with these devils, the reason why they want to set up this new world order system under the guise of climate changing, right? Because you know when they use the term climate changing, which they've been saying this for years anyway, what they mean is they want to change the world around in a totally different fashion where they control every aspect of your life. They control how much food you go get from the stores. They control and they can measure your whole entire life.
Russia.
Basically, you know? And hence you get the term biometric, because you know the term biometric means like measurement. So that's what they want to be able to do with this biometric technology, is to measure measure every aspect of you. Every element of you they can find. They want all of that data. That's what the New World Order system is going to be about, under the guise of climate change. But that's not going to take place. What's going to take place is that this place is going to go through an economic supreme turmoil, and the nuclear destruction is going to come in effect as well under World War III. Because World War III is going to happen.
That's right.
You know, and that's why they're coming over here and they'll be able to say, let's read this again, let's read some more.
Right, Zechariah 13:8 again. And it shall come to pass.
Because you got people blowing fireworks up, the real fireworks is going to come in and destroy this.
Right, that's it.
Right.
You know, go on, brother.
Zechariah 13 verse 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahawah, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd part shall be left therein.
Right, but the 3rd part shall be left therein. Go on.
And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire,
Right.
and I will find them as silver is refined,
Yeah.
and I will try them as gold is tried.
Yeah, so the elect are going to be tried in the time of what? Affliction. So just like how the 4 men survived the fire, physically, we're going to survive the fire of affliction. When all hell breaks loose, when there's, what is it, civil disobedience. Because that time is going to come right around the corner. It's right around the corner. All they got to do is do a couple of the things that they have to do and how they do it, right? And then the ball's going to get rolling. Like you have the term called the Hegelian dialect, where they come up with a problem, and then they already have the solution prepared for the problem. And what is the solution? The solution is just to gather as much power from the people as possible back to them. And then that's how they're going to set up the system. It's going to be based on your lives being controlled. Okay? But like I said, it ain't going to get that far. Once they administer that mark, that charagma,
Yes.
which is the what we call it, the mark of the beast,
Yes.
the microchip, this place is going down.
That's right. That's right.
Go on, brother.
Quick precept if I may.
Yeah.
1 Corinthians 3 and 13, because we're talking about the fire.
Yeah.
Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, and because it shall be revealed by fire,
Right.
and the fire shall try every man's work,
Right, and the fire shall try every man's work
of what sort it is.
of what sort it is. So if we stay so stiffly onto this word, then we're going to survive.
Right.
We ain't going to have to worry about nothing.
That's
But
it.
those among us that came in this thing and left and fell out, they're going to be destroyed. Just like the rest of these people are going to be destroyed. Go on, brother. Let's read what you got. You got anything like this?
Read that again. Read that again.
No, let them read this. Let them
All right,
read that.
I'm going to read. Because your topic is miracles, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll touch on some of my favorite miracles. Joshua, this is Joshua 10 and 7 says, so Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them unto thine hand. They shall not a man of them stand before thee. Now jump down to the point. 11. It says, and it came to pass as they fled from before Israel and were going down to Bethlehem, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them. You know I like that one.
Yeah.
Upon them unto Issachar,
Yeah.
and they died. They died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. And there's one more good bit as well. 12 says, then when Joshua spoke to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, sun, stand thou still upon Gilboa,
Wow.
and thou moon in the valley of REUBEN.
So the Lord destroyed the Amorites. The Amorites was
There's a lot here.
supposed to destroy us, but they got destroyed.
Yeah.
So when this government comes raising up against themselves, against us, they're going to be destroyed based on that move that they're going to make. And how they're going to be destroyed in totality is this whole entire empire is going to be destroyed. That they're rooted in.
That's right.
And I mean, you can't blame them because they've been on a high hawk for as long as we know, for centuries. We could talk about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all of these guys that are in power today. They've been in power for centuries, man. So they're going to want to preserve as much power as they can, knowing that they know that they have but a short time to preserve. So they're going to do anything in their power to keep what they have. You can't blame them. But the Lord is going to take everything from them anyway, because it's written. Get me Job 14, verse 5. Somebody get Job 14 and 5.
Yeah, go on.
Because the kingdom that's coming up right now, excuse me, the kingdom that's coming up next is our kingdom. You've had empires that came and went. So this empire is no different than the previous empires. We've already went through the Egyptian empire. We've already went through the Babylonian empire. We've already went through the Persian and Median empire, right? So all of these empires have already came and gone. So what's the difference with this one? And then we've already dealt with the ancient Roman Empire, the Greco Empire, right? So the next setup is going to be the kingdom. So
Right.
us governing the earth.
Which is
And
going to be an
righteousness,
everlasting
which will
kingdom.
be an everlasting kingdom. Go on, brother. That's why this world is crumbling apart. Let's read this.
Job chapter 14 verse 5, seeing his days are determined,
Go on.
the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right. So what does it mean determined? Another the Hebrew word which means karatazah, which means to cut. Like it says in the book of Job, I think it's the book of Job 20, where it says that you've known this of old time, that the time of the wicked is short. And we're in that time right now, because who is really the predominant wicked ones? Now every nation on the earth is wicked somehow, some way. But the wicked is the Edomites. In other words, the so-called white people. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks about. That God made them to be so that they could do a particular job. To show the world what wickedness is all about. And now we've experienced that, so that eventually when the kingdom of heaven is set up in righteousness, we can appreciate righteousness.
Yep.
That's why the society is the way that it is, and it's not going to change. Go on, brother. Until the Lord makes a second return. That's when everything's going to be flipped right side up. Because this world don't even make no damn sense, man. Go on, brother.
I've got Job 20 and 4.
You're 20 and 4. Yeah.
Right? Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short,
Yeah.
and the joy of the hypocrite but
It's
for a
but
moment.
for a moment. There you go. So you can also get me, what else, man? Yeah, get me 2nd Ezra 16. You know, 2nd Ezra 6. Read that again. Let's read one of it.
Right, Job 20 from verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old,
Go on.
since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short,
Right.
and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Right, but the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So this society was only set up for a particular moment in time. This whole entire empire wasn't set up to go forever and ever.
Yeah.
Now it seems like that if you're not in the knowledge or in the know, but this is a world just like how you had previous worlds. So this society, like I said, it was only set up so that the world can know what evil and wickedness is all about. Under the man of Esau and Edom. Beginning with the so-called Jews and as well as these average Edomites. So they've done a good justice in that. Or should I just use the term justice? They've done justice on that and showing what evil and wickedness is all about. And we're at the lowest point of mankind right now. So that proves that things are going to turn around full circle all over again, like I was back in the beginning of time. When you had the sons of God, which were more prominent and which were dominating. So when the kingdom of heaven is set up, we're going to be the ones dominating the earth in righteousness under the orders and the commandments and the statutes. That's how this thing is going on. And that's why this Israelite thing is blowing up.
Yeah.
You got a whole lot of celebrities that have actually heard what we've said. And it's like, well, wait a minute, man. Them guys is talking. They talking that good talk. All right. You know, and it makes sense. So, if you can, brother, get me another scripture too. Hosea. You already got that, man.
Yeah, something good.
Yeah.
Hosea which?
Hosea 1 verse 10. Read what you got, brother, if you can.
2nd Ezra 6 and 9 says,
Yes.
Esau is the end of the world, and
Yep.
Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Yeah. So we're in the end of the so-called white man's rulership, transitioning into our rulership. That's the time that we're experiencing right now. That's why this world is not what it used to be 40 years ago, 60 years ago. The economy and everything else. This society is no longer thriving like it used to be anymore. There's no zest, there's no lively energy in here. It's dead. If you go to Oxford Street, you feel that dead vibration.
King James Version.
Because the aura, the vibration or the spirit of this place is dead. because we're transitioning to the real society now. We should be governed by the saints. That's why the Lord is going to make his return once again to deliver us, the elect, and those are going to be the men that are going to situate the next following world. Go on, brother.
You got yours?
Yeah, I read mine, but can I make a point though?
Yeah,
you were
go
saying
on,
about the
yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah.
A lot of celebrities are saying, yeah, this is what they're saying now, and jumping on the bandwagon. But you got Kanye West. He can't keep himself out.
Yeah,
of
he
trouble.
can't keep his mouth shut.
He's
But you know what I think though, brother? I think he's Poe's opposition. That's just what I think.
Okay.
That's my personal thing.
MK Ultra.
Yeah.
So you know, he said it again. So, but he's actually sometimes the MK
Yeah, that MK
can
got him.
backfire. You know, it can backfire. So anyway, he said you got people like Kevin Hart wondering why they can't get. They want to be free from slavery, similar to Colin Kaepernick. You know, they want to be able to have their own. They want to run their own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their own kind of business. And we mentioned about someone else, that guy that got. He spoke out to the Amalekites, the small hat people. Then the comedian. Nick Cannon, he spoke out and he said that he's going into it, man. He's going into it. So, okay, yeah, MK Ultra, but sometimes
it doesn't work.
There's a glitch in the matrix sometimes, man.
Yeah.
That is true.
Right, I'll bring out Hosea 1 and 10.
1 and 10.
Right, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, and it shall come to...
We'll go up to verse 5.
Can't, right, it's like it. Hosea 1 verse 5. And it shall come to pass at that day that I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel. Right? And she conceived again and bare a daughter, and the Most High said unto him, call her name Loamiah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will take them utterly away.
And I mean, I'm going to say this too, because even though we preach that our people, so-called negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, are the Israelites, but you also do have Israelites that are scattered among the nations. And they may look like so-called white people, but they could very well go back to us.
Yeah.
Through their history. You know, we know about the history down here in England and elsewhere in different parts of Europe. So really what this whole thing is about, this is about our people. It's truth. You know, so if you're feeling what we're saying and you hear what we're saying, it's best to take heed, because basically, I mean, we all have different belief systems. We all, you know, believe in whatever we believe in, but there's only one true doctrine on the face of the earth. You know, and I'm not saying that you guys follow us per se and take our words for it. Do your research and hear what we have to say, and then, you know, maybe you will jump on board. But this is the only thing that's going to save our souls out here, because all hell's getting ready to break loose. You know, and the Lord is getting ready to bring great judgment. So you have to repent and keep the commandments, so that therefore you can avoid the judgment.
Right, shall I read on?
Keep going.
Right, verse 7. Verse 7 says, but I have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by Yahawah their power. I will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. Now, when he had weaned Loamiah, she conceived, and she bare a son. Then
Which verse you?
Verse 9. Hosea 1 and 9.
Alright, go on.
Keep going. Then said the Most High, call his name Loamiah, for you are not my people, and I will not be your God. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in a place where it is said unto them, Salakia, ye are not my people, there shall it be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power.
Yeah, because for so many years, we've been classified as Negro. We've been classified as all of these different names, and not just the so-called Negroes, but also the Latinos and Native American Indians. They've been classified as these terms that has nothing to do with anything. But now we're in the land of our captivity, as it explains in Hosea, that we would return in knowing that we're the sons of God, the Israelites, not those people in the Israeli state. They're not the people of God, because if they were the people of God, they would be suffering. They'll be under the curses. They would have experienced slavery. They would have experienced oppression. They would have experienced living in impoverished neighborhoods. All around the curses. They're not experiencing that. They're one of the most wealthiest people. They're actually the wealthiest people, not one of, the most wealthiest people on the face of the earth. And that's why these same individuals can come over here and set up multi-billion-pound businesses. So they're not the people of the Lord. They're fronting like they're the people of the Lord, but they're not the people of the Lord. They're what you call Amalekites, Edomites, perpetrating the fraud. All right, because when you read the book of Deuteronomy 28, it talks about, or should I say Moses told the children of Israel, you don't keep my statutes and my commandments, yet this day, these are the curses going to befall you in these last days. And that's exactly what we're experiencing right now. So when we read the book of Deuteronomy 28, it hits home to us. It lets us know, okay, we're those people. We got to be those people. Go on, brother.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt to gain with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Yeah, and that's what happened. There's no other nation. Now, in every time or another, every nation experienced slavery. That's a given. But no other nation has experienced slavery like the so-called blacks did. So let's read that again.
Right, Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt to gain with ships,
Right.
by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
And the term Egypt just simply means bondage. Because we didn't go back to, there's no incidents in history showing that we went back to Egypt on actual ships. So what Egypt is this possibly talking about? This is talking about us going back into bondage in this civilization, apprehending this civilization, apprehending this economy, making the wealthy wealthier, while we'll just get the scraps back in return working for these jobs. Okay? That's what this is talking about. Go on, brother.
Right, I shall bring thee into Egypt to gain with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Yeah.
Thou shalt see it no more
In
again.
other words, we wouldn't be able to go back home to the land of Israel again. Because that's our original land. Now, we've been taught in the school systems that we're all African and we all originated from Africa. No, that's not the case. The people that they have enslaved actually go back to the nation, go back to the land of Israel. That's where we originally come from. So those people over there in the land of the land of what they call the Israeli state, those are not the people. Because if they were also the people, they wouldn't be in that land.
Yeah.
They'll be ousted out of that land. The scripture says that the Lord will scatter us outside of our land. So they're not fitting to that prophecy. Let's keep going.
And a bastard shall dwell in Ashton.
Right. Where they fit that more in particular.
And yeah, read it again. And Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt to gain with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
That's what happened. When you go and look at those pictures of our descendants that went into slavery, they were sold on auction blocks. That happened. So whatever happened to us 400 or 500 years ago, that was Moses actually. Basically, Moses spoke about that 1,000 years ago.
If you need to ask a question, because I always coming out to anything. Yeah, you could ask a question if you need to.
You got a question?
Oh, whoa. What's this? What's what you guys called?
We're the Israelites. That's who we are. We're the Hebrew Israelites.
Did I find you guys online?
Huh?
You're online?
You're online, yeah. You're online, yeah. If you type in Greatmillstone Israelites, we're worldwide.
Is it a religion or like?
I mean, you could say it's a religion, but it's really us coming out and confessing the words of the Lord and prophesying and telling people that the Lord is going to, all of that good stuff, you know, all of that stuff.
Christian movement?
Well, I mean, if you're thinking about the traditional Christians, no, we're not like those guys. But you could call us Christians because the word Christian means anointed ones. But we go by the Hebrew Israelites. That's our title.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Have you got YouTube on your phone?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely, man. Yes,
It's live.
Oh, man.
No.
What is this building for then?
Education.
Huh?
Oh, is it just like just found?
But